The Note 8 is here and it will cost you some serious cabbage. Attention Walmart shoppers, you can now buy stuff with your Google Home. And happy birthday hashtag. All that and a lot more coming up on Tech News Today.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for Tech News Today is provided by CacheFly at CACHEFLY.com.
This is Tech News Today, episode 1838, recorded Wednesday, August 23rd, 2017.
This episode of Tech News Today is brought to you by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Home plays a big role in your life. That's why Quicken Loans created Rocket Mortgage. It lets you apply simply and understand the entire mortgage process fully so you can be confident that you're getting the right mortgage for you. Get started at rocketmortgage.com/TNT. Hello, welcome to Tech News Today. We are your guides here on the adventure that is Tech News. I am Megan Maroney, and this is my first show of the day. My friend over here, Jason Howell, has been talking about technology all day long and is still going.
Still going. My voice might stop working here in a moment's notice, but I'm going to do my best because, dang it, I was here at 8 to talk about the first story that we're going to talk about today.
Yes, you were here at 8 to hear the Samsung announcement. Samsung announced the new Galaxy Note 8 today, a 6.3-inch screen smartphone with an infinity display, reminiscent of those Instagram photos you've seen of infinity pools in people's backyards or on their fancy vacations. And since the phone starts at over $900 a pop, the people who swim in those infinity pools are likely to be the only people buying the Note 8. The phablet comes in midnight black, deep sea blue, maple gold, and orchid gray, otherwise known as black, blue, gold, and some sort of purpley color that looks a little bit like the first color that appears after a bruise. I don't know. You can pre-order it now. It includes the S Pen.
Tell us how you really feel, Megan.
It weighs 195 grams. That's all I got. Turn it over to you, Jason.
Yeah, so, I think for me, what I found interesting, so the differentiators here, this is the first Samsung phone with the dual camera array on the back. So it has the two cameras on the back of the phone. It has OIS, optical image stabilization, on both cameras, which I think is going to actually, Samsung's known at this level of phone to have really good cameras in their phone. I think that's going to be awesome for like low light performance, f1.7 aperture on both of the cameras. So all that combined means that you're going to get some really nice nighttime shots with that stabilization happening back there. Of course, it's got the S Pen with some features, that they included, like this live kind of drawing mode where you can draw on a picture and then send it to someone and it'll draw, it'll show you drawing on it to say hello or something like that.
Like an adult coloring book?
Well, that was another feature.
Oh, that's different.
That's different.
Okay, because I know Flo likes the adult coloring book, and we are not to mock her for liking this because it's okay. So that's not the adult coloring book. That's just drawing on a photo. Yeah,
so like that, you would get that image, and it would show the drawing process.
No one ever draws a hat on someone. Everyone draws mustaches when given the opportunity. We all know that.
Yeah, that's true. Then it would show the drawing of the mustache.
Right. Yes.
Which we can all agree is essential.
Not to be confused with the Essential phone.
No, it's a different phone entirely. Yeah, they, actually, while we're talking about it and kind of looking at the promotional material, they really kind of doubled down on the creative aspects of the Note. Yes, they sold it as a productivity device, and the fact that, like on the lock screen, you can remove the pen the way you've been able to do for a couple of versions now, and write on the lock screen without actually unlocking the phone. They added the support for up to 100 pages of doing that. So that's kind of nice. You're kind of busy, whatever. You just pull it out, scribble it down, up to 100 pages or whatever. So they definitely sold it on the productivity aspect of it, but they also really spent a lot of time showing off the creative elements, drawing, the adult coloring books, all that sort of stuff, using the pen in creative ways, which, there are a lot of people that use their Note as an art tool.
Mm-hmm. Web 1822 also has an important question.
Like that.
Is there a camera bump?
I don't believe that there is. I'm trying to think back to the S8. Like, basically the design of the Note 8 and the S8 are very similar. The Note 8 is just a little bit bigger. And I don't believe that there's much of a camera bump, if at all. I don't think that it's perfectly flush, but it's hardly sticks out. I'm trying to remember my S8 that's in the other room. But yeah, you're not going to get one of those big projecting kind of camera bumps on the back. I feel like I'm missing something. I mean, they're pre-order. If you pre-order, you get freebies. They've been doing this for the last few phones as well. If you pre-order, you can pick between either a 128 gig micro SD card for the slot and a wireless charger, or you can get a Gear 360. And I've been saying this all day. Best Buy, if you buy it through there, you get a $150 discount on the pre-order, so you get some money. You get a better deal there. And we've come to also learn that if you ever bought the Note 7, even if you returned it, or if you didn't return it, I doubt you have it still, but if you returned it, they're going to give you up to like something like $450 of a discount on the Note 8. So they're doubling down. That's a huge amount off of the price, which, as you mentioned, it's right borderline on the $1,000 mark. So this is an expensive phone, but Samsung's navigated through that kind of Note 7, lights on fire stuff pretty well. It has not really slowed them down. People are still very dedicated to the brand. They're having record earnings for the company. They're doing great. So they have kind of moved on from that, it seems like.
So I did a little Googling, and according to Paste Magazine, they have been able to remove that heinous camera bump.
Okay.
But my first Googling came up with leaks, which showed the camera bump. So
I don't think that there is a camera bump. Now that I'm thinking about the back of the S8, it's pretty flush. There might be like a tiny little border, but it's by no means, you see some of those phones and it projects it out like that. You set it down flat on a countertop and it's slanted upwards. You don't get that with the S8, and I don't think you get that with the Note 8 as well. I'm very curious to see this though. It's a really nice looking phone, I have to say.
These are the questions that plague us all. Camera bump or no camera bump? I
am curious though, because we are definitely on the eve, well, not the eve yet, but we're very close to Apple's announcement of their upcoming, big refresh. I'm curious to see if Apple crosses that $1,000 threshold, because their most expensive configuration of that new phone is going to be right up there. They're probably going to be playing in the same ballpark.
Yeah, this one was over $1,000.
That configuration was over $1,000?
Yeah, because I got the biggest size.
Oh,
and,
okay.
It's the
with
plus,
the most
with the
storage.
Camera. Yeah, the most storage. I think it has like endless storage or something. It has 520 or something. I don't know. It's a lot.
Yeah, you'll never fill all that. That's crazy.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think last rumor I heard was September 12th. So we'll see.
Yes.
Speaking of Apple, they have reportedly... Oh, wait, this is your story.
This is me. I've got the Apple. You got the Samsung story.
I was like, I did not write this.
I got the Apple story.
I was
just going to see how far you went.
Reportedly?
I was like, sure, go ahead. Apple's reportedly were hard at work. You're like, that's the word. Reportedly? I would never say that. That's funny. I learned something. Apple reportedly hard at work on a product it dubbed internally as disruptive to the automotive industry. That, of course, is Project Titan. Sources to the New York Times say Apple has moved from developing a self-driving car, as we've talked about in the past, to creating the software that drives cars to be integrated into vehicles developed by third parties. Part of its testing process involves an effort called PALE, which is kind of a lame name, but Palo Alto to Infinite Loop, that will use the technology in test vehicles to drive Apple employees to and from the Apple campus. So they're going to test the software in this effort. Not active yet, though. It's not happening right now, but it definitely, in total, represents kind of a scaled down version of what their initial plans were. They planned to go big. It just seemed like they couldn't kind of get on the same page as far as what that looked like. And when it boils down to it, it really seems like companies think it's going to, I don't know if they think it's going to be easier to create a car and then realize just how incredibly complicated it is, and maybe it makes more sense to focus on the software.
Mm-hmm. I wish it was called Palo Alto to infinity and beyond, like PABE.
To infinity, yes.
PABE. I mean, we've been reading the tea leaves for years on this, and lots of us really wanted them to build a car. And part of me thinks like, oh, well, is this the old Apple would have done this? the old Apple would have done the hard thing. Like Steve Jobs would have pushed everyone to do the hard thing. But who knows? My favorite part of the New York Times story was that they were literally looking at a way to reinvent the wheel. That's what the story says, that they really were going to make globe-shaped wheels, which is just insane. So, you know, and they're going to be testing this software in the hardware on employees, going back and forth on the Palo Alto Infinity and Beyond shuttle, which is what I will call it from now on. I hope it's safe.
Spherical wheels. I'm just trying to picture that.
But this is the shuttle. I moved between those two stories to two anecdotes quickly. That the spherical wheels will not be on the shuttle.
No. This was all kind of the original plans. They included, yes, the spherical wheels, which would be good for lateral movement. I would just love to see it. Like, I'm picturing it in my mind. I would love to see what that looks like. Also, motorized doors that open and closed silently. I'm imagining there wouldn't even be a button on those doors. I'm guessing. Virtual and augmented reality interior displays. So maybe information projected on the screen to tell you that Walmart is only 20 meters ahead of you. I don't know.
Doesn't Tesla's doors open automatically with no noise, or is there noise?
I don't know if there's noise. I've never been in a Tesla. But maybe the ones with the doors that open like that do. They go.
Yeah, the gull wings or the falcon wings. Falcon wings. Thank you, Burke. Falcon wings. I'm sad about no Apple Car, but it's not like there's a big bump on the back of the camera or anything.
Yeah, totally. You don't have that to have to worry about. Car OS is probably still a thing, though, so you can hang your hat on the Car OS.
Okay. All right, I'm doing all the Android and Google stories today, and you're doing all the Apple stories. What has become of us?
It's craziness.
Google Home has partnered with Walmart to compete against Amazon in the race to buy stuff with your voice. Starting in September, hundreds of thousands of Walmart products will be available to purchase using your Google Home device. It's not the first retailer to join forces with Google. Costco, Walgreens, and PetSmart products are already available on the Google Home. You can order items one at a time or fill your digital shopping cart while you're washing dishes or showering or doing whatever else. You can also link your Walmart account to your Google account to receive personalized recommendations. And next year, you'll be able to place orders for in-store pickup at the Walmart. So this is through Google Express, which you've used that before. You know, it's a $95 a year fee, but they've removed that. And now you just have to hit the partners threshold for shipping. And in Walmart's case, that's $35. So if you order $35 of stuff with your voice, you can get 3-day shipping for free. And it also includes the easy reorder feature.
Yeah, and that's actually kind of critical to competing with what Amazon is doing with its Echo devices, in that the easy reorder is all about tracking both your in-store purchases and the stuff that you do online. So keeping a running history of that and then being able to suggest and resurface and all that kind of stuff. And you actually sync that up with Google Express, so they're working together. Those accounts kind of connect together. So, Walmart, 2-day shipping. There's a lot of similarities here between what Amazon's doing and what Google Home is trying to do. But I mean, there's no doubt about it. Walmart is a distant second behind Amazon. But hey, there you go. First time Walmart's offered products online outside of its own site.
Do you order from PetSmart? Well, you don't have pets, so when you wouldn't do that, but from like Walgreens or Costco from your Google Home?
No, I don't order anything from my Google Home. I didn't really know that you could do that. And I'm still kind of struggling with, like, because I haven't done it yet, I have no reason to, like, I just wonder whether I really need to do that. But I'm sure that at some point, you know, you have to do something the first time, and when you do, maybe then it makes a whole lot of sense. Like, all I had to do was say I need toilet paper, and hey, it appeared 2 days later. I just haven't needed to do that yet.
So yeah, I have not mastered the ordering, the easy reorder process from Amazon Subscribe and Save, and I've been using Subscribe and Save for at least a decade. Much more, because I think I use it for diapers and my kids are 14 and 12, so it was over a decade ago. And I have, like, 95 rolls of toilet paper or something. Like I somehow got it. I was ordering I had 2 subscribe and save orders. So I don't know if you've seen that giant box under my desk for a while. It's just extra toilet paper. Like I will literally never run out of toilet paper. And I think I have so many subscribe and save items that are like that. I put, for some reason, at one point, I put pens on there, like as if I was going through pens like toilet paper, which I'm not. So yeah, they can really get you. And the idea that like, oh, if I don't have to think about running out of toilet paper or running out of pens, my life
is going to be so much better when I don't have to think about toilet paper anymore or ordering it anyway.
I never have to think about it again. And of course, like, 6 months from now, when I run out, I will probably run out and it will be a disaster.
I mean, that's the reality is you're always going to use the toilet paper. The pens, maybe not so much. Toilet paper is going to get used eventually, right? We're human beings after all. Maybe we should stop talking about toilet paper.
Okay.
DJI announced that it is issuing a firmware update for its new series of Spark drones to address a small number of incidents where the drone suddenly turned off and fell from the sky. The power supply and battery management system appeared to be the reason for the small number of hardware faults. DJI set a deadline of September 1st for the mandatory update to be completed on the drones, after which time unpatched drones, DJI drones, will simply not operate until they are in fact updated, which I find very interesting because that basically says that DJI has remote control capability over the drones without the need for a firmware update. And that sounds a little weird to me. Or should it not be? Is it just because it's passing through is it passing through a phone to DJI and that's how it's happening?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I was thinking at first that like the drones could like talk to DJI in some way, shape, or form. That makes a little more sense. So it's not as weird, I guess.
Yeah, you've been talking about the Note 8 for a long time today.
Give me a break.
Yeah, the app gets the updates, and I'm all for it. Yes, like the idea of someone being able to ground your drone is a little bit disconcerting, but isn't the idea of like lots of drones out there suddenly falling from the sky onto your head more disconcerting? I would agree.
Yeah, I don't want that. I'm sure that you don't want that. Yeah, I'm pointing to you. But I mean, also at the same time, like the reality is consumer electronics, they all have failure rates. This just happens to be something that if it fails, and there will always be a percentage of them that do, it falls from the sky and potentially lands on people. So they need to take care of it. That's a good way to do it, right? Ensure that it doesn't end up flying. What does that say? Another reason Army should not use, because you never know when it will fall out of the sky. It's true. It's true.
After the break, a former Android engineer joins us to talk about a new app that lets you ask almost anyone almost anything. But first, let's take a minute to thank Rocket Mortgage, the sponsor of this episode. The mortgage experience wasn't keeping up with the times. It was dated, and it needed a client-focused technological revolution. That's why Quicken Loans created Rocket Mortgage. Rocket Mortgage gives you the confidence you need when it comes to buying a home or refinancing your existing home loan. It's simple, allowing you to fully understand all the details and be confident you're getting the right mortgage for you. It's convenient. Their trusted partners allow you to share your financial information with Rocket Mortgage at the touch of a button, and it's powerful. So whether you're looking to buy your first home or your 10th, Rocket Mortgage is able to perform thousands of calculations in seconds. Based on your income, assets, and credit, Rocket Mortgage can analyze all of the home loan options for which you qualify and find the one that's right for you. Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently. To get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/TNT. That's rocketmortgage.com/TNT. Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states, and MLS consumeraccess.org. Number 3030, and we thank Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans for their support. I often get on my soapbox about how technology has the ability to cause disconnection between parents and children and couples and friends. It's easy to forget how amazing technology is at connecting people and bridging ideological gaps. Our guest today created a tool to do just that. Vidya Narayanan, founder of UrbanAMA. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here, Megan.
Oh, thanks for coming on. So first, tell us what UrbanAMA is.
So UrbanAMA is a platform for video AMAs. AMA stands for Ask Me Anything. Simply put, it makes video interactive at massive scale. It's a great way for journalists, reporters, politicians, and others to create engaging discussions. You host an Ask Me Anything session, and kick off an AMA on any topic. Questions and discussions may also come in through Twitter and as tweets, essentially. So we've integrated UrbanAMA with Twitter for exactly that.
So should I pronounce it UrbanAMA or UrbanAMA? Which do you prefer?
We like UrbanAMA.
I like it. So what inspired you to create it?
Quite frankly, the 2016 elections. It's been a social media election in every way. Most of us consume news and information through social media. And on social media, we're increasingly seeing a shift towards stories, which really eliminates any type of interactions. And without interactions, the increased partisan animosity that we have going on in the country right now and a drop of faith in media that we're seeing are only going to get worse. And we feel very strongly about building a platform that is both video-centric and highly interactive, and that's precisely what we've done in UrbanAMA. So
why UrbanAMA and not rural AMA?
So a lot of people ask us about the name. It's really one of those names that clicks a lot with the younger generation. As you know, like Urban Dictionary, Urban Spoon, Urban Outfitters, they're all brands which have a positive connotation with the younger generation, which is increasingly going to be the population that is active on social media and consuming social media. And we came up with UrbanAMA, and we sort of talked it out with a whole bunch of user study candidates, and they all loved it.
Nice. What kind of topics would you see being the most requested, or at least most served from the platform right now?
So we are seeing a wide range of topics being discussed on Urban, from, say, politics to current affairs to sports and entertainment. Social issues, politics, and sports seem to invoke the deepest of discussions. Trump is always a popular topic. Marriage equality was a very popular topic. Race and gender issues get talked about a lot. Fantasy football picks was a spirited discussion. Also on the lighter side, we've seen topics around hair products, dating, music, sex education, comparison discussions like Amazon versus eBay, Sprint versus T-Mobile, and so on. People have even done translation AMAs, like say something and I'll say it back in Chinese or Russian. So it's been a wide spectrum of things.
So usually when you think of like the Reddit AMAs, it's usually an expert or some kind of famous person. In this sense, what does it take to start one? What do you need to know about to start one? What do you need besides the app?
Yeah, so of course, like when you are an expert on a topic, we've had some of those like professional writers. For example, we have some professional writers coming on next week from HarperCollins to discuss their upcoming books on Trump and mental health, the case for impeachment by Adam Lichman. So we have those kinds of people who have deeply researched and written about these topics. But also we have everyday people hosting AMAs, like broadcast journalism students and others who are freelance journalists, for example, who would pick up a particular topic that is either of national significance today or has personally impacted them today and start talking about it. The idea really is to create an engaging discussion among the community and discuss certain topics to see how ideas may evolve. So, for example, one of the discussions yesterday was on whether the government should be regulating what we eat because of the increased tax on carbonated drinks in California, for example.
And how?
So, yeah.
Oh, sorry. Continue.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just curious, talking about kind of the scale, the different kind of approaches. You know, it could be just a random person setting one up, or it sounds like it could be a very kind of promoted, scheduled event. How are each of those kind of treated as far as like making sure that these AMAs get the proper or get enough audience to make them valid or useful?
Yeah, so we have, an engaged community, a part of the community that's almost regularly doing AMAs. Like these are people who are doing AMAs 5 to 7 days a week. And they don't typically schedule anything ahead of time. They just get on and, just start doing an AMA on the topic that interests them today. But we also have these scheduled AMAs where we work with, news outlets, media houses, and so on and so forth to, specifically set AMAs for certain dates. And over there, we try to, pre-announce them on Twitter, pre-announce them on Facebook, bring visibility on UrbanAMA, the platform itself, that this is something that's coming up. And many of the professional writer type of AMAs will fall under that category. That said, even with some of them, like Alan Lichtman, for example, we're looking at hosting a series of AMAs on his book, Case for Impeachment, which wouldn't be like a single AMA talking about his book, but really talking, like getting into the depths of, like, say, climate change and what might that create in terms of, what it could do to Trump, or, the case for lying, or, there's just like a variety of topics, and he was going to tackle it in a series, for example.
So I noticed you could also request AMAs. Like if there's someone you want to hold an AMA, you can use the app to request one. How does that work?
So AMA requests are really about people expressing an interest in hearing about a particular topic, or hearing from a particular person, or say hearing from someone who has an expertise in a certain area. And people can upvote, anyone can request these, and people can upvote these requests if they're interested in an AMA. And we notify the potential AMA hosts of that interest, both within the app as well as through external channels. We are actually in the process of launching what is called an Ask Your Officials AMA series, where people can request AMAs from their elected officials and candidates for upcoming elections. Our mission there is really to enable people to speak truth to power by directly interacting with officials.
I noticed that there was a request for Sundar Pichai, an AMA with him. Have you reached out to him?
Not yet, actually. So that request just came in, and we are, in the process of getting the upvotes in and seeing, when it reaches a certain threshold, we will be reaching out to Sundar.
I'm an Android user. I would love to bring this up on an Android device. I know you're a former Googler.
Yes.
Just wondering, when do those two things walk into each other? And, hey, we've got UrbanAMA on Android. What do you think?
We will have an Android app in due time. Being a very small startup, we're currently focused on really building the freelance journalist community. We're building partnerships with a number of news agencies, publishing houses, media houses, launching the Ask Your Officials initiative. So we're really focused right now on building the AMA host side of the platform, but definitely an Android app is in the books.
Nice.
And so you did come from Google. You were working with Android engineers. How is it like to have been at Google, this giant company, and then to move to your own startup?
It's been challenging, of course. Google was a great place to be at, and it wasn't easy to leave at all. We've definitely had some tough days, but I am doing what I'm very, very passionate about. And with UrbanAMA and the team that we've been able to build, we have more than a fighting chance. And in a quarter or so, we'll start turning the corner on growth. And I think the possibilities then are endless. And at the end of the day, that's what keeps me going.
And you said in a Medium post that, you started this wanting to have a more diverse team than the team of engineers that you worked with at Google, even though you were in charge of hiring, and then obviously in charge of hiring at your startup, and you still haven't been able to do that. Can you talk a little bit about the difficulties that you've run into?
Sure. We have a small but dedicated team of engineers who basically adapt, learn, and get stuff done. Some of the new hires we've had haven't quite worked out that way in the end, men and women. As it happens, all of the women we were able to bring on board are no longer part of the team. That's a reality, and I've talked about that frankly. It's a fair argument to say that our sample size is too small and we can't really generalize anything from that. That said, I am a woman. I'm, fighting every day to keep the startup going.
And you're going to be talking about diversity in tech. You have some great Medium pieces that you wrote. That's how I found you. And so how do people get involved in your diversity in tech AMA?
Basically, the easiest way to do it is to download UrbanAMA on the App Store. It's UrbanAMA, one word, on the iOS App Store. Those people who don't have an iPhone can participate over Twitter. Watch for hashtag #DiversityAMA. I'll kick it off with a tweet around 11 a.m. Pacific time tomorrow. And, you can follow along the responses on my Twitter feed at Hello Vidya.
Thank you so much for joining us, Vidya Narayanan. Vidya is a former Android engineer at Google and the founder of UrbanAMA that you can find at UrbanAMA.com. And you can download the app in the App Store. It is free. And you can find her on Medium and Twitter at Hello Vidya. And don't forget to participate in Vidya's AMA on diversity and tech tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Megan. Thanks, Jason.
Thank you.
Take care.
It was a pleasure.
Bye-bye.
We got some feedback.
All right.
Jennifer wrote us to say, I was listening to your episode 1836 of TNT, and the conversation about logos caught my attention. I personally don't really know who exactly cares about logos either, but one of my favorite authors, William Gibson, wrote a book in 2003 called Pattern Recognition. In it, the main character has a quite visceral reaction to corporate symbols and logos. That sensitivity to logos isn't just a quirk of the character. It plays a major role in the entire novel in direct and subtle ways. Like many of my favorites, William Gibson's book often makes me look at the world a little differently, and this one had me looking at logos and thinking more about what they evoke and what they're trying to convey. Who knows, maybe the makers of the Essential phone read the same book.
Yeah, because the Essential logo is... Well, you know what? I was going to say is obscure, but they're all obscure. I mean, so many of them are.
But there's no logos on the phone. That was right.
Oh, not having the logos. No, I was actually thinking like the actual Essential logo. Like sometimes you actually see the logo that they've come up with and have a hard time putting two and two together, like why it is what it is. Maybe it's just visually aesthetic. Like the aesthetic is appealing, but it has nothing to do with anything, it seems. But yeah.
I think I read Pattern Recognition. It came out the year that my daughter was born, so a lot of that is cloudy and blurry, but I'm pretty sure, I think Burke has read it. He was giving a fist bump to William Gibson.
Yeah, he was doing flips over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. TNT's fan of the day is Ken Dome, return visitor to the segment, with this photo on Google Plus of his living room setup, complete with a dog down at the bottom, staring not at TNT, unfortunately, but at Ken taking the picture. Priorities, obviously, dog. Show us how you watch or listen to TNT. Just record a video or take a picture of yourself or your setup. You can post it on Instagram, Google+, Twitter, or Facebook, and use the hashtag HowIWatchTNT, and we will find it. It's a big day today. We need to take some time out of our busy schedules to wish the hashtag a happy birthday.
Yes, we do.
Today, the hashtag turns 10 years old. Double digits. I don't know why I got Kevin laughing over there, but I'm going to go with it. 10 years ago, Chris Messina, then a Google engineer, tweeted, how do you feel about using pound for groups, as in pound barcamp message? Of course, pound became hashtag, which is what we all use. Barcamp, by the way, is a network of user-generated conferences. And that's where it began. 10 years ago today, hashtag was used to lump similar conversations together, and it's cross-platform, and everybody uses it now.
So Chris Messina actually made up the word hashtag.
Did he?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking, because it wasn't a thing before. It was just a hash mark, or it was a pound sign.
Yeah, it was a pound sign. I remember it being a pound sign back then.
Back in the day, it was just a pound sign.
I don't know if he necessarily coined the term hashtag. That's actually a good question. That actually makes sense, though, right? Because it's a tag. It's a way of tagging items, but 10 years is a long time in internet years.
It is.
So,
well, my favorite part in BizStone's blog about the anniversary of the hashtag, he says Chris Messina just walked in the door of the office just to suggest it. Apparently he didn't get enough feedback, so then he tweeted it.
And hey, history was
That's
made.
where we learned you get more attention by tweeting something than you do by actually talking to someone about it.
Yeah, it doesn't always work that way, though. So, keep that in mind. When asked why Chris Messina didn't patent the hashtag, he gave two reasons. One, it would have slowed the adoption, counter to what he was looking for in the first place. He wanted broad adoption, cross-platform adoption. And two, he wasn't interested in money, saying they should be owned by no one. So there you go. Hashtags everywhere. Hashtag awesome.
Free the hashtag.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
Yeah, that's what you say that all the time, too.
I do.
TNT records live every Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, 2300 UTC at twit.tv/live. Be part of the show by emailing us, tnt@twit.tv. Leave us a short voicemail, 260-TNT-SHOW, and find us on Twitter at Tech News Today TV.
Also, hashtag Tech News Today TV. And you can subscribe to our show at twit.tv/TNT. And free the hashtag digital cleanse. Check out our 10-week series on the new screensavers if you want to get rid of all those digital toxins. We're not putting away our devices. We're not getting rid of it. We're not shortening our beloved screen time. We're just making it cleaner, like clean eating. You know how it is. Clean teching.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Something like that. That makes sense to me. Hashtag makes sense. And I'm at Jason Howell on Twitter. Thanks to Kevin for laughing at my jokes sometimes, but more importantly for producing the show and helping us every day. Thanks to Burke for helping out here in the studio. And hashtag chainsaw arms, says Burke. Of course, he says that. And thanks to you, whoever you are, hashtag you, talking to you, for talking tech with us today. We'll see you all tomorrow. Bye, everybody.